Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Welcome, everyone. We're here with our Friday review. We made it to Friday if you're listening to this on a Friday. Welcome to the show. Love having you here. Appreciate your listens, your downloads, your subscribes, and your reviews of the Cabral Concept. We're here in a brand new year. On these Friday reviews, I always go through all my updates. I'll be chatting a little bit about the new year plan to start the show. But hopefully, again, if you're new to the show, we go over the podcast recap for the week. We always go through typically a product review and a book review. We'll be doing 2 books that I want to make sure you start the year off this year with. And then I have 2 research studies for you today. Really important. The first one is on an early detection test for Alzheimer's, decade plus in advance. Pretty amazing to be able to know that there are lab tests like that out there. And then also something that naturopaths and integrative health practitioners have been talking about for decades, which is a common food dye put in children's food and adults as well that causes actually IBS and IBD. Well, lo and behold, right? It's like all these things that are generally regarded as safe. We'll be talking about those, not so safe, right? So we'll go over that. I always love to start with my updates. So I'm here in Maine for the start to the new year. Maine is one of my special places that my family and I love to come to. And, honestly, it's just a quieter, more peaceful way of life. Like, that's the truth. And there's just a lot of joy here with my family, my extended family, and we love it. So it's like the perfect place to get centered and start the year. I just want to wish you a happy new year. I hope it's been a good couple of days getting into the start. I know it's sometimes a little hectic after the holidays, but hopefully once you've regrouped, my biggest thing for you, and I'll be talking about this during my book reviews, is just to understand that this is a brand new year. And with that, it really opens up the possibilities of saying, yeah, last year was last year, and okay, I had my obstacles, I had my challenges, I have hopefully learned from them, which I know that you have, and this year is your year now to make it what you want. And I truly believe that. But it all starts with the mind, right? It always starts with those Mindset and Motivation Mondays, and the books today are going to help with that, no doubt about it. So I wish you all the best this year. I love wishing people health and happiness. That's really what it's about. If you have your health, I think you can create happiness. And if you have your happiness, well, life is good. Life is worth living, no doubt about it. All right. So I appreciate you. Again, hopefully it's going to be an amazing year on the Cabral Concept. I'm going to do my best for you, no doubt about it. Okay. Next Monday, I start my detox, my functional medicine detox. Now, the nice thing is, when we first started the detox in my practice, well over 10 years ago now, then, back then it was maybe like 10, 20 people, right? A month we're doing it, and that's great. That's phenomenal. We will have close to 50,000 people from around the world doing the Equal A functional medicine detox. I mean, it's crazy to say that, but it's spread because of all of you. I mean, 2 to 3 million people each month are downloading the Cabral Concept, listening to the show, sharing the knowledge with people, and doing things to then take back control of their health. And if you don't do anything else, literally, if you don't run a lab test, if you don't do protocols, if you don't do anything else, do a 7, 14, or 21-day detox every 12 weeks. Like, that's it. If you've never done one before, if you can do the 21-day, you do the 21-day. It will be life-changing, and then you can maintain with 7-day detox every quarter. That is the thing to do. So I'll be doing my 30-something-ish because I've done like 35. This will be just one more for me. But the truth is this, especially after the holidays, especially going into the new year, we need it. So I look forward to it. And I look forward to cheering all of you on as well, especially if it is your first time inside of the cabralsupportgroup.com. That's a free support group, and we'll be chatting all week and all through January. So start yours whenever you want. You can find details at stephencabral.com/detox. I also have a free course on detox, the science behind it, at stephencabral.com/courses. All right. What's going on this week at Equal Life? I'm glad you asked. Well, this week we are giving 30% off, basically any new subscription. So any product that you've ever wanted to try, whether it's calming magnesium, adrenal soothe, balanced zinc, alkalizing vitamin C, daily nutritional support, daily activated multivitamin, daily omega-3 support, daily probiotic support. It could be anything, right? Estrogen balance, testosterone support, estrogen support, like any of these things. Whatever you're looking for in order to help you achieve your goals, head over to stevencabral.com/shop. That'll send you over to Equalife. Take 30% off any product this week for any new subscription. And you can just cancel at any time if that's what you want to do. But I'm telling you right now, these products are one of the 8 steps, right? Not just these, again, any good functional medicine brand that are going to help push your body back into balance. So again, any questions, let us know at cabralsupportgroup.com. 20,000 people now heading into the new year strong. Pretty amazing. So again, appreciate all of you, and take 30% off this week at stevencabral.com/shop. All right, next up, the podcast recap of the week. So on Monday, that was episode, let's just see here, what was Monday? 25, 23, the 100-hour rule. The 100-hour rule, to me, makes big, audacious goals much more doable. Because when you think about the 100-hour rule, and I explain exactly what it is, and you realize that you don't need to do it all at once, that it makes it much more accomplishable. So whatever goal that you want for yourself in your life, that you know that if you were not to complete it, you would feel unfulfilled and you would have regrets, that's the one that you need to go after this year. All right? I'll talk more about those in the Mindset and Motivation Mondays, but check that out on the 100-hour rule. All podcasts are at stevencabral.com/podcasts. That was episode 25-23. 25-24 was the truth about detoxes. So many people saying, oh, you know, I've already done a cleanse before. I've done juice fasting. I do intermittent fasting. It's not a functional medicine detox. So like we have to understand as to how we support our body. I'm all for intermittent fasting. Again, know the right time for you. I'm all for an intestinal cleanse as needed. I'm all for green juices. Like I'm all for these things. They're not a functional medicine detox. There's a reason why if I tell people out of everything that I've done for 20 plus years, well over 250,000 client appointments. If there's one thing that you could do, it's a functional medicine detox. And it's one of the least expensive things that you could do as well, because it's literally replacing food for 2 of the days. So it's like, and it's guaranteed to work. So it's like, I just want people to understand that if you only do one thing, it's this. And because it's going to get you the majority of the results. So anyway, I wanted to share that on that show. Let's see. Wednesday's show was the simplest weight loss formula to follow. I really like that one as well. That just made it easy, honestly. Because like, again, if you have 20, 30, 50, 100 pounds to lose, follow this formula. It's the simplest way to look at it. It's all about mindset. Everything else is achievable. It really is. So just get the mind right. You'll achieve it. And then yesterday's show was using the 3-2-1 formula for better sleep. So there we have it. And those are the shows for the week. I'm going to change that title there for Wednesday. We'll be good to go. All right. So hopefully check those out again at stevencabral.com/podcast. I've got 2 books for you today. The first one was a brand new read for me, but it's quite old, meaning like it was written many years ago. And it's by Louise Hay, amazing woman, amazing individual. It was written in 1984, well before its time, still pertinent today. I read this book because I'm on a mission this year, right? That I want to simplify the approach to everything. And that includes mindset. It's my greatest belief right now that not just me, integrative health practitioners, level 2s, who can do at-home lab testing, naturopathic doctors, many great nutritionists out there, people have the knowledge. And there's a lot of great books, there's great courses, there's great certifications. So again, I am convinced, everything can be achieved and the plan's already out there. So then it just comes down to, will you begin it? Like, do you believe enough in yourself for one more try in order to get after it and create the life that you want? And that's about mindset. So I know my work maybe 5 years from now, 10 years from now is going to a lot be even more focused on psychology, Because by then, like, I've spent the last 6 or 7 years documenting exactly what I do. I wrote the book, The Rain Barrel Effect. I give it away for free at StephenCabral.com. Like, I try to get people started. And I feel like another 5 years or so, all of the technology, those types of things that I'm integrating, I'll keep working on that. But then it's going to be solely, I think, working with the mind. And it's because I do believe that there's a protocol for everything in order to be able to heal. So then it's simply, why aren't you doing it? Or why won't you do it? And again, I had to figure this out for myself as well. Like, there's no doubt about it. And every level we hit in life, we need to up level again. So why aren't we doing that? So it's interesting. I find it very, very interesting, the mind. And I study it. I've been studying it now since I was about 18, 19 years old, when I realized that I wasn't going to get well. And then I did get well, and it's pretty amazing. So I got my mind right, and then I healed. It's funny how that works, right? But I was also open to the protocols that were going to help. So anyway, the book I want to recommend to you is called You Can Heal Your Life. It's old, and it's amazing. And we should always read the older books too, because there's so much wisdom. So you could listen to this on Audible, or you can read the book. It's a great read. It's short. On Audible, it's probably like a 3-hour listen. Reading the book might be like, 2 or 3 times that length of time, but both are great. They really are. So You Can Heal Your Life. This is about mindset. This is about getting into a mindset of, why are you so hard on yourself? Why aren't you allowing yourself to thrive and reach your potential? It's a great book, great woman, and Louise Hay. I wanted to recommend that. Okay. Now the second one is, and there's a lot of great books on mindset. I've mentioned many, many before, but this is a great one. So the next one, so we'll pop that up right there. Again, You Can Heal Your Life. And then the next one I've read and recommended many, many years ago. It's called WishCraft. Now, I can recommend any of the books I read. I read a lot of books, lots of books every single week, probably 2-3 books a week. And a lot of them are good reads, but not anything that I would recommend, because you have to have all the foundational knowledge first for these other books to even make sense. If not, it's just, too much. It really is. Like, it's not the place to get started. When you start talking to people about telomeres and like telomerase and extending telomere, like, it's too much. People aren't ready for that. The majority of the world needs the strong foundation. And then, yes, all of these things do matter, and I teach them inside of IHP and all that good stuff. But the thing is, you have to master the foundations. I truly believe that. And you have to keep going back to that. Even when you're advanced, you need to go back to the foundations of what makes a solid base for health and for relationships and your career and your spirituality and your finances and all these things, right? Well, after you get a little bit of that mindset from someone like Louise Hay and You Can Heal Your Life, there's a book called WishCraft. It's by Barbara Sher, S-H-E-R, I believe. Pop that up right there. And this is a short book as well, really short. But then it's about goal setting and going after your goals, and honestly being able to achieve anything that you can conceive. And it's a powerful small book. I love it. It's a great book. And so when I was making the recommendation for You Can Heal Your Life, it immediately popped into my mind, you need to recommend this book with it. And I don't know why, but I know that intuition, that thought that I had, is going to be right for one person listening to this show, and maybe the work of Barbara Sher and Louise Hay, that'll change their life. And so reading has changed my life. People think it's ridiculous that I have thousands and thousands of books, and that's okay. I don't mind being ridiculous because I live a very happy life, and I love life, and a lot of that is because I was able to rewire my mind. That's the honest truth. I rewired my mind from not a happy individual to a happy individual. It didn't happen overnight, but I now simply try to give back, because that's what you do. Honestly, when you become happy and you become healthy and you're grateful and you have perspective, you're trying to help other people with that, because you realize how unhappy the world is, and you're in a place of happiness, and it's sometimes a little hard, because, and it shouldn't be, right? Because you're happy, but you see a lot of suffering in the world. So you try to relieve, honestly, the suffering of people. And I've never really shared that, but that's a lot of what I try to do. All right. So before I turn this into a Mindset and Motivation Monday and something more philosophical, those are two great books. Honestly, if you're a podcast person, you like audio, listen to them on Audible. I will link them up here today at stephencabral.com/2527. All right, next up is our research for the week. And so I'll be back next week with product reviews. I've got a brand new, what's the best way to describe it? It basically reads the air in your home or office and it tells you if it's polluted or not. It's a cool little device that I picked up and it's remarkably accurate. So anyway, I'll be talking about that within the next few weeks. A lot of product reviews coming. Got an anti-aging based moisturizer I was asked to review, and I'm like, I don't know about that. Turns out to be phenomenal with certain stem cell based potential. So I've got a lot of products to review. Definitely stay tuned for the Friday reviews. All right, first research study of the week is the one on Alzheimer's that I mentioned. Okay, this was done out of the University of Washington 2 weeks ago. It was published. Brand new research. Now, I will link up some shows on Alzheimer's today at stephencabral.com/2527 because this is one marker that it's looking for, but it's an important one. So this research can detect toxic, I'm reading verbatim, it's done at the University of Washington. Researchers can detect toxic, small aggregates of a particular protein in the blood of individuals with Alzheimer's disease, as well as in individuals who showed no signs of cognitive impairment at the time the blood sample was taken, but who developed Alzheimer's at a later date. The blood test picks up oligomers, or a small misfolded aggregate, which is an amyloid beta protein, sometimes called beta amyloid proteins. And scientists believe that this is one of the triggers, if not the main trigger, for developing Alzheimer's. So basically what this lab test does is it looks for misfolded proteins, picks it up in the blood, years to potentially decades before the actual diagnosis of Alzheimer's. So again, there are multiple reasons why you might even build up beta amyloid plaque in the brain, or amyloid beta plaque in the brain. And I go over those on my Alzheimer's shows. I won't go over those here today, but just know it does not matter if you have Alzheimer's in your genetics, if you're a double 4 in terms of your allele, it doesn't matter. You don't have to get Alzheimer's even if it's in your genetics. That's very well proven by now, okay? So I just want you to know that. But if you detect these things and you see, oh, wow, I have beta amyloid buildup, I better work on that. That's very helpful, right? So this is in its beginning stages, but I'm going to link up the research for you. It's called SOBA. Let me get for you exactly what it is. Published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, and it's known by the acronym SOBA. And it could detect oligomers in the blood of patients with Alzheimer's diseases, like I just mentioned. So if you want to read more about this specific lab test and the research, head on over to stephencabral.com/2527 and look for this test, as well as potentially ask your PCP for it in the future. All right? That is that. Now, our last research study of the day this was published just 12 days ago. So again, super up to date. This is a common food dye that can trigger inflammatory bowel disease in studies. It is known as FD&C. You might see that on the back of a label, or Red 40, or Red 17. Now, we talked about this on the Cabral concept. Let me get this for you. stephencabral.com/podcasts. We're going to type in Allura. And lo and behold, 2023. So, 1 year and 4 months before this research study was published, at least in the natural health-based world, we knew that this was causing serious issues. So again, it's so important. You don't have to blindly trust anyone. You don't need to blindly trust your doctor, anybody. I'm not saying that at all. But just understand, just because the FDA or the government or any conventional medicine doctor tells you that these things are generally regarded as safe and they're okay to consume because the science says it's okay. If it is a chemical like this, it's not going to be good for you. It's going to be proven in the future. Think of plastic bottles. Think of BPA. 20, 30 years later, they found it, right? So again, understand that these food dyes are chemicals that are potentially carcinogen causing cancer, potentially. And we know now it can lead to bowel-based issues. Well, what's IBD? Bloating, gas, constipation, diarrhea, inflammation. That could then lead to what? Diverticulosis, diverticulitis, interstitial cystitis. Could lead to colitis, Crohn's, like inflammatory-based issues, right? Polyps. So what I want to share with you is this. Food dyes, blues, yellows, reds, they're all toxic. If on the ingredients of a product that you or your children are consuming, and it says red or yellow, or again, go back to my podcast where I talked about it, the government is allowing them to, instead of write the reds and the yellows and blues, because people know now that that's toxic, they're writing Allura, A-L-L-U-R-A. If you see that word, think of it as poison. If you see another word that I talked about in episode 2023, which I'll link up for you, tartrazine, think of poison, okay? So again, I just try to bring you what I know to be the truth, and I love when it's backed up by clinical science as well, because then again, we know from natural health this is not good, and now we see in conventional medicine, finally they got around to actually looking at the research and saying, okay, yeah, this is undeniable. So I'm gonna link that research up for you as well. That was just published, like I said, 12 days ago, and it was done out of McMaster University, and it was published in Nature Communications, all right? I'll link all that up today. Head on over to stephencabral.com/2527. We need to keep in touch. We need to keep each other healthy. Send me these things when you see them. I always love being able to, people sending me the research. Hey, did you see this? Did you see this? Like, oh, interesting. We talked about that a few years. Now there's a study on it. I love you when you send those things to me. I get all that information. I share it with the rest of the community. And that's what it's all about. So I appreciate it. I thank you. And I'll be back tomorrow answering our community's questions on the Cabral House Calls. Have an amazing weekend. I'll talk with you soon. Before you go, I wanted to share a personal story with you. The real reason I began to get well finally is because I figured out what was wrong with me. And that might seem pretty obvious, but I went from doctor to doctor for over 2 years before discovering at-home functional medicine lab testing. These are the labs that enabled me to finally figure out what was wrong with my hormones, blood sugar, electrolytes, and gut health. And once I knew what was wrong, I could then follow a proven plan in order to rebalance my body from the inside out. This is why I believe so strongly in functional medicine lab testing and why I've made it my mission to share these labs with the world. Now at equa.life, you can order an at-home lab test or lab bundle for you and your family and be able to complete it within the week. Plus, the EquaLife difference is that you're not left to try to read and figure out these labs on your own. We explain what your lab numbers mean, what they mean in the much bigger picture, and then how to go about rebalancing your body in order to heal. To see our full selection of lab tests or to set up a free lab selection call to find out what labs may be best for you, simply head on over to equa.life/labs. And do remember, we ship these all over the world. To find out more and to set up your free lab selection call, simply head on over to equa.life/labs. That's EQUI.LIFE/labs.